The opinions expressed in the following are solely those of the speaker and is not suitable for medical advice, diagnosis, or care.
Hey guys, it's Pappy for CPAP Choice, and today we're going to start looking at the Phillips Respironics, the PR SystemOne machine. Hey, I've had this machine for 2 weeks, a little over that. We had some good time with it, and hey, I'm liking what I see. The only thing is that the video to review this one machine is going to be so long. It's going to be a 20-parter if I don't break it up. So this is the overview section. Hey, if you're looking for something about the internal workings, about the different therapy settings, about pressure relief, that's going to be on a follow-up video. So what we're gonna do now is basically, if you can see it from the outside, we're gonna review it today. So let's get it up to the tabletop here, and we'll get going. Okay, guys. So here we are. It is the unit itself. This is, of course, the full unit. It's the Phillips Respironics PR SystemOne machine. My particular model happens to be a Pro. If you're familiar with how the M's ran and their naming and the different capabilities of each, the M's, both the M's and the SystemOnes come in Pro and Plus. And the difference is that with the Pro, you get the therapy monitoring. It tracks your AHI number. And it displays it for you. You don't get that with the Plus. The Plus only monitors your therapy time. It's a compliance check only. So if you really want to get the most information out of your machine, this will track how you're actually breathing at night, monitor, watch for apneas, hypopneas, record them. If you have the software, at present the software isn't available for this. Phillips and Respironics, they just haven't come out with it yet, a commercial version of it. The commercial version being the version that the patients would use to take a look at what happened during specific nights and at specific times. They do have, of course, the clinician's version. It gives them a little bit more information, allows them to make more decisions on therapy, that kind of stuff. That's out for this. We're hoping to see that soon. If not, hey, what happens with this, and it's really true, is that some enterprising person with sleep apnea is going to get sick of waiting for the software. They're going to write a program for it, and hey, that's just the way it is. Hey, Phillips and Respironics, if you don't want to miss out on that, hey, guys, get us some software. So this is the unit overall. Okay, on this side right here, you have, this of course is your heat and humidity section. You can see underneath here, just barely is the humidity chamber where you fill it up at night. This right here is your flow generator side. This is the heart of the unit. Now, if you notice something here on the heat and humidity side, there is no controls, unlike the M's. The M's had that little dial to select the heat and humidity setting 1 through 5, and on this machine there is no, the settings aren't on this heat section. This is literally just a heater and a water reservoir, and the tubing to get the therapy out the other side. Okay, those are all contained in this button here. Okay, and it's a button and a dial. So we'll show you how that works in a second. But on this, there is no connections that you see, no control points or anything else. So, the one thing I will say, about the top, and I really want to go through the heat and humidity section first, okay, then head to the other side, is that, this swivel, it's kind of, you can never really tell these things when you're actually looking at ads and things like that. This is a pretty tight swivel. And the reason is that there's a seal on the bottom side that's in contact with the other end of this, at the other end of the elbow, and that keeps it pretty tight. So if you get it, you can see it set to one place at night, and pretty much you just need to leave it there. It's not as swiveling as I thought it was. Didn't think it would take this much force to move the thing around, and it takes a pretty good deal to move it around. I thought it would be a little bit more functional. Hey, that's just the nature. I don't know how you can get around that. Now, here's the other thing: you can't pick this up. Or actually, you can pick up the unit with the seal, but you can't open the chamber access. There's no way you're going to be able to pick that up. So you need to access it through this bar. So you're going to push that in, and it's going to pop up like so. So it's got some nice little detents to it. There's kind of half cocked and all the way up. So then what you do is now you can remove the humidity chamber. Now I'm going to move the machine back here, and we're going to talk about the chamber for a minute. Now they did substantially increase the volume of this chamber. I measured it, I don't know what their specs say. I'll put it up in an annotation. I actually measured this chamber, and this chamber right here, to get it to the max line at the best balance you can get, I'm getting an 11.5 ounces out of it. or into it, I should say. And compared to, and I'll just bring this one in. This is the old M series chamber. Now, compared to this chamber, I'm only getting right at 10 ounces with it. So one of the things that they had done is that, if you were in a dry climate and you had it turned up to 5, previously the chamber would run dry. I haven't had that happen with this. Not at all. Not even coming close. In fact, I can get, with where I like to set my humidity, in the 4s and 5s when I was using the Easy Life mask, I was able to get it all the way up to 5 and actually go 2 nights without filling it. Without waking up dry. I'd still wake up with stuff. Hey, we're in a mountain climate here. It's a high desert, low humidity, so we're really sucking the humidity out of this. Probably, I don't think that, maybe Arizona during the summer would get a little bit hotter, a little bit drier. We're about as close as you can get to maxing out what it would take. As a reminder, if you didn't know this about the SystemOne machine, they monitor the ambient conditions in the room, and then they adjust so that you don't rain out in your tubing at night. Now, Pappy still got a little bit in his mask in the morning, but the tubing has never rained out. For the most part, I also use a fleece cover, so that's probably why it's avoiding it. In addition, it never rained out with the M, and it sure hasn't rained out with the SystemOne. So going through this, here's some of the innovations they put into this. If you notice where your fill line is, okay, and also up here this is where the top half removes. This gray line here, this is actually your seal. So what they've done is they've moved the water line, at its max position will always be below your seal. Now, if you look at the M chamber here, you notice this is about 50% up. So what would happen is when you were filling this, you'd have to fill it. You're holding it like this. There's only one measuring point on it. I'm holding it up. I'm filling it right up to this line, and I get this thing almost totally full. By the time I pull my water up to here. So then you're kind of playing the ball bearing in the maze. Trying to get the water in through this tube to. So you don't have that with this new. With the new SystemOne. The other thing it is, they put in some nice graduations here. So if you're emptying your chamber every night, which I did, when I was first started therapy and I was taking the RA meds and I was immunocompromised, hey, that's what I would do. Is I would, I'd put, if I knew I could get away with leaving 25% in here, hey, of course it wasn't this unit, it was the M. I'd fill it up only that far. So then the next day, all I did was take the top off, flush it out with distilled water, and we were good to go for the next day without having to wash the chamber every day. I just give it a rinse, get rid of the water that was in it. Now, hey, quite frankly, I'm a little less immunocompromised now. I think 0. So we aren't on those therapies. So hey, Pappy can fill this thing up. I do end up leaving it for 2 nights. That's not always recommended. It's not recommended, and stick with the recommendations on that. Read the disclaimer at the front. So continuing on with the tour here, the other thing that they've done is, I don't know if you can see these lighter lines, both here and here. They correspond with these, and what it does is it gives you an opportunity when this is in the unit, this is the end that's facing you, and you can actually get a pretty good idea of where your water level is. Pappy, if he had his way, I wish they would have put their graduations here, so that I could see it without pulling the full unit out, without having to tilt it for your benefit to see where the percentage lines are. Hey, if it was over here, it'd make it a lot easier. But hey, that's a minor thing. 90% rule applies here too. So going around, this right here is the back side of the unit. We just showed you the front with the graduations. This right here is the air inlet from the flow generator. It comes in, makes a 90-degree turn. It comes in here pretty well protected. If you notice, if you can see it through here, here's your, up here is is your inlet tube, and look at where the fill line's at. So the fill line is underneath that inlet tube. They really tested this. If you watch the Respironics video about its development, New Kensington, Pennsylvania. I have a sweet spot there. That's actually where my dad grew up. Small town, suburb of Pittsburgh. Used to be coal mining and Alcoa aluminum and things like that. But hey, now Phillips is there, and this is one of the products that they're making. And I believe that they're making out of the plant. I know it was definitely developed there.